Hey guys, I'm gonna continue finishing the story about the Garden of Eden and how the serpent deceived Eve. Okay, and his intention is not great because he was messing with God's creation. Because when God created Adam and Eve, he asked, God asked, because he was an angel, right, at the time, and he was asked to kneel for, God's best creation, because, humanity are, God, put on a pedestal. He honored humanity. So that's why he asked him to kneel, and he refused because he said, "You made me from fire, and you made them from clay," right? And he thought fire was better than clay, but and yet he did not know clay gets hardened with fire. So if you blow a torch on wet clay, you get a very strong plate, right? That's how they make plates, right? Clay. And there is a glass, but you know what I'm saying, right? So fire makes the clay hard, right? Basically Adam was created from dust and water, right? But Adam, he did not, Satan did not know Adam was much stronger than he is, because he was made from fire. He thought he's above Adam and he cannot kneel because he thought he was superior, He had this superiority complex. It still run in the family, but that what happened. He didn't want to kneel, and God kicked him. And when he kicked him out of, he says, he kicked him out of his sight. He says, "I don't want to see you," and he cursed him because he refused to obey. And so what Satan did, he went and he said, "What can I do to spoil this creation?" So that's when he introduced his seed with Eve. And so this seed is the curse seed, because the created, the giants are always been deceptive and aggressive, and they have all these issues that they think they're equal to God. And even they showed you in TV the House of David, the TV show, the House of David. Go watch it. When Goliath, he thought he was equal to God. He said to his mother from the show, his mother, she goes, "Oh, if you want my giants," because she had I don't know how many of them, and they were living in a cave at the time, right? Because I remember I told you because the sun affected them, right? So they were living in a cave at the time, and one of them, she says, "You are gods, and you should not kneel to anyone, and you should not take any orders from no one, right? Because you are gods." That's what. And one of them, he said to her, "Oh, if we were God, why are we living in caves? Why are we not out in the public?" There are many ways you can prove they're not gods. I tell you what, because you die. Dying is not aspect of God. God is infinite. You know what I'm saying? God is forever. It's not there's no death, stuff for God, because He exists. He's living every moment. He's never dies. He never sleeps. So that's God. So all the giants, like us, humanity, we're all asleep. We are flawed. We're not perfect like God, right? We all have issues. At least some of us, willing to acknowledge what our issues are. But some of them, they're like, act like God Almighty. You're not. Are you bringing your kids to believe that? And that's a problem. And you cannot equate to your maker, to your creator. God is, you cannot equate yourself to someone who made you, right? So when Satan was cursed, the serpent, okay, if the serpent obeyed, the serpent would have been evolving. He would have had legs, he would have had other, maybe wings and in the future, But when he disobeyed God, when God cursed him, the serpent de-evolved. It did not evolve. You understand? And that's exactly what happened. And so now I'm going to tell you, I looked and I found the verse. I found the verse that it tells you who are these serpent race were and how they came about. Remember how we talked about this? So Enoch, Enoch, verse 31:6. And God and I cursed the serpent. God and I cursed the serpent and placed an enmity between him and the woman. The woman is Eve. You understand? And he will be the one to watch for her heel, and she will be the one to watch for his head. Because the serpent is not a dragon. He doesn't have the same face. So she says to watch for her, because it's basically telling you how you distinguish a serpent from a dragon. To watch for his head. That's what it says. She was to watch for his heel. The serpent has a tail. And to watch for her head. Okay, and then he says, and to watch for his head. Okay, yeah. And the serpent will come forth with a race of serpents. Race of serpents, right? So, synagogue of Satan, there are a race of serpents. The Nagas are a race of serpents. They are the same. They are the same race. The Naga of India, they are the cursed seed. And then he says, she will come with a race of serpents, and from the sinner will come forth the poison, and the vapor, and the seed that will be deceiver. A seed that will be deceiver. Okay? So, who is a deceiver on earth now? Isn't that the same seed? So, because this, and then, Cain was born, and then Cain from the union from the serpent, giant serpent, he was born from the union of, from the union of, Eve and Satan, and so he killed Abel. Abel was from, the blood seed of Adam and Eve. Understand? So, and when he killed him, God, so that seed becomes very demonic. That seed of Satan's seed became demonic because of the aggression towards humanity. Because Cain is the first seed on earth that ever committed a murder. That's the first seed. Nobody killed anybody on earth. That was Cain was the first. Okay? So, I'll go with this verse, Basically, so from the offspring, union, It's not typically a literal snake. Basically saying just a lineage and the serpent, deceit and rebellion. Okay. Basically, it dominates and tries to corrupt. Okay, that's what exactly happened. You know. So remember when I told you the word Jesus is like associated with Zeus? So Zeus is Jesus, the name Jesus. You understand? Now there is a true Jesus. That's a fake Jesus. That's a serpent Jesus. You know, serpent Jesus. You know, the bloodline of Cain or whatever. Satan. That's the same one. Okay. Who gave ellipse or hope? The first woman on earth. Who gave her the Pandora's box? The Pandora's box, it has all these, negative aspects that impacts human today, like strife, fear, anger, rage, all of that, So there's the 7 aspects, and he gave her that to cause harm, because the serpent is and God are at war, and they're always trying to say, like, the serpent, Satan is the devil. Okay, let me explain to you something here. Satan is not the devil. Okay, the devil and Satan are 2 different beings. Okay, one is divine and the other one is cursed. Okay, that's all I'm going to tell you. Because I don't want you to say oh, this man is crazy. What is he saying? How the devil be divine, or and Satan would be the wicked one? Because I just told you. You know what I mean? And so they through their deceit and in humanity, they made you hate the devil. They made you think of the devil as a wicked doer and stuff. No, the devil is not who they betrayed, because they are a nation of deceit. So of course they're going to paint you, the devil, as a wicked. The devil is not who you think. Okay, and I know this for a fact. Nobody told me. I did not read this anywhere. Okay, and I told you this in the past, because I have over 1,000 videos on YouTube. I talked about this long time ago, so I'm gonna tell you this story. I'm gonna kind of short form, the story. So anyhow, when I was 21, I was living in the U.S., going to school, and at the time, I was still having, fun, partying, getting drunk, and, stuff like that. So anyhow, the devil, I laid on a couch. I laid on a couch because at the time I was working overnight, and I said, okay, I came from school around 3. I was going to uni, and I came around 3, and I said, I'm going to sleep till 10 o'clock. I have to be at work at 11. I work only 20-minute drive from my house, right? Because I live downtown, and I work downtown, right? So then what happened was, I closed my eyes, and I opened my eyes, and when something weighing on you, but my eyes are open, I was wide awake. I was not in a state of sleep or roaming or whatnot. No, I was awake. So I woke up and I saw how Hellboy, that what he looked like. Okay, and he told me, he looked at me, and I could not move my body. I was looking down, and I could see my body, and I could see my legs, and stuff like that. But my eyes are moving around, but my body, I couldn't move my body. Something it just pinned me down on the couch, and I looked at him, and he looks at me, and he goes, "Give me back the cross," and he was upset. Okay, to give me back the cross because I was fornicating, I was having fun and doing that, and the devil was upset I was doing that, and he told me to give me back the cross. I did not know what he meant because I'm Muslim. We were not taught. We thought that the cross is false idol, but apparently the 144,000 from researching, we have a cross that we're given, but this cross is like a weapon of divinity. It's given to us by God. That's what the cross the devil was talking about. So for the devil giving me a cross, if the devil giving me a cross, why would the devil give me anything? So and if he has a seed, the synagogue of Satan are three seeds. If the devil is the same person, why would he give it to me? Consider I'm the one they hate. Why, if it's the devil and Satan are the same one, why can the devil give it to his seed? Why would he give it to me? So that's why I knew that the devil and Satan are not the same. Okay? That he was upset. He was pissed off at me. Anyhow, to finish the story, and I froze and I closed my eyes and I started to recite, verses in the Holy Quran in my head to repel all negative attacks and anything. He wasn't attacking me. I didn't feel pain. I didn't feel anything, but I just couldn't move. That's it. And I recited, verses in my head, and I opened my eyes again, and he was gone. Okay, so that's what's kind of going on. The devil and Satan are not the same being. Okay, and that's what the seed of Satan, the fallen ones that you were dealing with, the 144,000 are attacking us, they didn't make just us. They make all humanity believe the devil as Satan. Okay? The devil is not Satan. Satan is a different. Satan is a cursed seed. Okay? So I'm going to read you again what is this seed? The seed is all about. They are Cain seed. They believe this tradition that Cain was a literal son of serpent, right? Then he says in Genesis, he's a ruthless wanderer on earth. Genesis 4:12. Okay? He's interpreted he's non-human. Non-human because yes, the serpent used to be an angel, but he is cursed. He's downgraded. He became this serpent because he lied to Adam and Eve and persuaded them to defy God's orders, going against God, because he knew if you do that it will upset God. So intentionally he did that. Okay? He did that to harm Adam and Eve. But then he persuaded her. I believe she was coerced. She was coerced to have Cain with him. To have their mixing of seed, which is also upsetting God. You understand? Because since then, this seed is being cursed. Okay? And okay. So the mark of Cain is placed on Cain. Genesis 4:15. Sometimes it's not seen as a protection, but a sign of his hybrid serpentine nature. A contrast with Seth creates dual. Okay, Seth creates dual lineage theology. Serpent seed, the serpent seed, and then worldly sensitive rebellions versus the divine seed line of Seth. Seth is a righteous, godly, and a central theme in certain branches Christian movement. Okay, so Seth is the righteous and godly seed, the blessed seed, which is 144,000 come from this seed. Okay, they come from the evil brothers, the one who hate us, the one they hate anything we stand for, But anyhow, so we come from Seth. 144,000 they come from Seth, because Seth is a blessing. You understand? So that's why they are targeting you. Why they are targeting you? Because you stand for what is right, and they do not like that. They like to destroy anything that of God. It's from messing with creation, and instead Satan going and creating another human being. Go and create another human being and you can mess with that one. But if you go and mess with somebody else's creation, God creation. God created him, but he's came out, he declared himself God. When he from coming out from when he was created, he declared himself was God. Okay? And he was created, was put in on a cloud and whatnot, and then anyhow, that's the whole gist of it, Satan and his seed, okay? And then it goes, the article goes saying, the Nephilim is connected concept. The Bible states the Nephilim is offspring, sons of God, and the daughter of men. Genesis 1-4, some with the serpent seed theology merges these events. The Son of God are seen as the fallen angels, okay? The watchers. The daughter of men as descendants of Cain, that already corrupted Serpentine lineage, double corrupted, produced the Nephilim men, God, whatever, okay? The giants, okay? So already the entire seed is corrupted, okay? The seed is corrupted, and the lineage is like double corrupted. So it's like double corrupted, you know what I mean? So, because that's what it says, the article, so there are fallen angels, because they came in, because the fallen angels came in when they defined God's order. They waged war. Satan waged war on God, okay, because he declared himself God. But yet he didn't create humanity. He did not create humanity. He hijacked. You know what I mean? He just hijacked something that it was not created by him, because he felt he has the right to do that. So he convinced a bunch of angels to go against God, right? And so they went, and then they end up falling, and if someone told me today, I'm going to tell you something. If somebody told me today Satan is actually living on earth right now, I believe it, because all the roads lead to Roma. You could see it. You could see it, what's going on. Who's actually pulling the strings behind closed doors? Who's actually controlling his seed? Because these people are, I believe, they are receiving instruction from Satan. You know what I mean? And Satan has a beef with God, because he feels that he should be God, but yet he's created. If you are self-created, you've never been created and you've never been birthed and all of that, then you give yourself that right. But then you are created like everybody else. It doesn't matter who came first. Okay? Obviously, Satan existed before the creation of Adam and Eve, right? So he went and got on this stupid tree and convinced Adam and Eve to eat from this tree because he deceived them. Because they're shapeshifter. He shapeshifted into this serpent, and deceived humanity into defining God's orders, and that what happened. Okay? Isn't it this actually what's happening now? Just look around you. This is exactly what's happening. This is exactly what's happening. This cycle, it does never go away or get old. It's always been replayed. They change cycle. They call it something else when in reality it's the same thing. They are think of it, a chameleon. A chameleon, this lizard that changes color, but it's still a lizard. It doesn't really, it's not something else, It's always going to be but always deceitful, trying to spin something as something true, but it actually is just false reality, So when they unveil all of this, Satan could never create the earth, could never create anything that's exceptionally great, but he could mess with God's creation. And that's the war. It's been since we came to this, to earth. Because when Adam and Eve fell, Satan fell too. So I believe Satan is in earth, and it's still controlling his seed to act on his behalf, But so if you watch, the Lord of the Rings, when Sirion worked behind the veil. Also, he did not have an army, and he always instructed people to do things, bad deeds, horrible things to people, right? It's always behind the veil, okay? So when you understand that, Satan always pulling the strings behind, and that's how the system, how these people are corrupted and controlled. Are they willing to change? Are they willing to repent? I believe, okay, this is my thought process always. I believe if they repented, before judgment, then God would have forgiven them. But if you don't, what I'm saying is repenting, there is, some sins are not forgiven. Shedding of innocent blood is forgiven. God forbid shedding of all blood. Never mind a child's blood. I'm saying all. Okay? Okay? That's a no-no. Okay? And so what they do is they were still killing people for Satan. Okay? They are whatever name title you give him, because he's their God, not ours. We're not really reporting the same God. Okay? We're reporting to the Creator, one who created their God. So, and that's a problem. That's what's going on. And have you noticed? They never tell me one elite ever been sacrificed. Tell me one elite who's been sacrificed before. Okay? And then you'll understand that they would never sacrifice one of their own. Because they sacrifice humanity, all the time. You know what I'm saying? Because because they do exactly, they're anti-God. When God says do not shed of innocent blood, they would go and do something like that to piss off God. You understand? So my mom blood was shed in vain. My mom blood, my aunt, and many targeted individuals. I'm pretty sure. If you go recall of how you lost your family member and stuff, and you've been targeted, all this blood has been shed in vain. You know what I'm saying? And it was not shed for the creator of heaven and earth and the stars and galaxy, the one who exalted above all, the one who manifested everything into existence. It's not that God, okay? To Satan, who cannot create, he cannot make shit. Make me a pot, make me a fan, and make me a little spoon or a cup. Satan can't make that shit, okay? Which is the simplest thing to make. You know what I'm saying? I was very good in art classes, creative intelligence. I'm very good in creating things. You know what I mean? I can create more than Satan can. He cannot create shit, but he just go and muddle with somebody else's creation. He puts his little tentacles in somebody's creation, God's creation. The maker of heaven and earth. You know what I'm saying? Because where he was created before humanity, right? And that's the problem. That's the problem. He's like exalting himself like God. He's like he live in a big bubble. He's been pursed so many times. He's not really accepting the reality. He's not God. He will never be God. He could never create anything, even if his life depends on it. Okay? He likes to pretend he can create something. You know what I'm saying? If God gave him something to create today without taking anything from God, he cannot do it. He only just manipulates what God has created. Okay? So that's what's going on. He just always hijacking something and then he spin it. You notice that? You notice that he's always spinning what God has created. Even witchcraft. Did you know that? I've learned a lot of things being in this stupid program. I've learned a lot of things. Did you know that to do witchcraft, they have to invoke God's name? Right? And then, from the back, create a spell. Because they know God's name affects everybody, right? Then they will create something to harm you. You know what I'm saying? Even that, even God's name was hijacked. So there's something like this. Just to kind of tell you, what this minions. Okay, I'm gonna stop calling them Barney and Friends and stuff. But that's what they are. I just want them to wake up and stop fighting, because their end is not going to be good. The end is going to be that you never come back for it. The whole seed will be eliminated from the face of the earth, and all the stars and galaxies. He cannot create. Okay, I told you how Satan gets affected. Okay, I'm going to tell you how he really gets affected. Fire, because he is made from, he jinn. When he's downgraded, he's jinn. So he smokeless fire. Real fire, the first spark of creation, affect him. You know that? And also, you could, okay, the real fire affects his blood also. Okay? The Morgullan or black goo, that's Satan blood. You affect it through fire, or you can freeze it. You can freeze the blood, but you're not gonna freeze that. But there's some dragon. Why? There's some dragons on Earth or creation. They can, they can breathe, this like cold fume that kind of freezes everything, and also they can breathe fire. Okay? So their blood, it gets affected by this. You know what I mean? It gets affected by fire, and you can freeze it, and you can also harm it with, God's names. You can invoke God's name, and you bind it into Satan, blood. Satan blood, or the hybrid blood, You understand? So there's so many ways, I can sit there and just think ways you could harm that blood, So if that, blood go and more gallons in you, this is how you deal with it, So I just showed you how, okay? And they're gonna find out, because what's coming is going to be unstoppable. He's coming. Satan. Let him come with an army. You know what I mean? We don't need an army. You need 144,000, which is 12,000 from each tribe, to end his army. His army is not that powerful. You know what I mean? Just a few of us could eliminate the entire, army. You don't need that many, you know what I'm saying? You need a blessing of God. God is, blessing us. He's going to send us out with the victory. We're going to, victory at hand. That's what's going to happen.